Hey guys, it's Jason or Stealthy SK, and today we're going to be going over everything to do with my Frostblades Trickster build. We're going to be going over from everything from what uniques to buy, to how to craft every single piece of my gear, including my jewels. Now at the start of the video, I'm going to give you a little bit of gameplay, and from there we're going to go over the crafting. If you want to skip straight to the crafting guide, just use the timestamps below. Enjoy the crazy damage. Now to start off this craft, you're going to want to start by buying an Imperial Claw, level 86, with a fractured attack base. This should cost you around 3 div for a max attack speed. We're going to quick grab T1 attack speed, it's level 27, we're going to fracture it, and this will be your base. From here, we're going to make it rare and spam Essences and Contempt until you get T1 cold and an open prefix. Rather than rolling this entire time, I'm just going to add on the affixes real quick. Now unfortunately we did roll a useless suffix, so we do have to get rid of this somehow, and the way you do that is your prefixes cannot be changed in Scour, or you can annul and get a 50-50 chance of hitting either the suffix or the prefix. I recommend the Scour because it's less RNG. So from here we're going to Scour, recraft prefixes cannot be changed, and then Icing on Veil, and now there's two options. You can either get a veiled suffix or a veiled prefix. If you happen to get a veiled suffix, you have to either YOLO annul and try to get the veiled off, and if that doesn't work, you have to restart the whole craft. So what you're hoping for is a veiled prefix, so we'll go and try to get that real quick. So there we go, we got veiled prefix, and we're looking for mainly physical damage. So every time physical damage pops up, that's going to be your main priority. So 130%, 128%. I'm pretty sure it's guaranteed to get. From there, again, you're going to craft prefixes cannot be changed. You're then going to go to the harvest bench and reforge crit. You're looking for either global crit or regular crit strike. Now, there is a chance that it could fill up all your slots, and in that case, you have to annul and hope it gets rid of a suffix. If it doesn't, it unfortunately bricks the build. But we're going to try to get tier 1 crit. So we're going to craft on. That's tier 4. If you mess it up, you're going to prefixes cannot be changed. And then you're going to scour and have to re-unveil. So you deal with whatever one you want to settle for. That's tier 4. Tier 3. We're going to try to get tier 2 plus. So there we go. We got tier 2. And then we're just going to craft on the last crit. So we got crit strike multipliers. So we're going to go and find increased critical chance. And that's your claw. Claw is all finished. And from there we go on to our next craft. Now that we move on to the next piece, we're going to go with the armor. This piece is a little more complicated because there's a few bases you can get, and I'll explain why. So there's Zodiac leather, which has a higher evasion base, and is exquisite leather. But to buy Zodiac leather, that's level 86, with the base suppress you need, is going to be probably 50 div. And it's almost not findable. To buy something like this is a lot cheaper. So what we're going to do is we're going to search for an exquisite leather that's 86 that has a T2 plus spell suppress fracture. So this is going to be our base we're going to buy. We're going to go ahead and make it rare, and then we're going to spend essences of envy. What you're looking for here is a high elemental roll, so T1 plus. Now since you're rolling envy, you're already going to have T1 chaos, and that's going to be a suffixes already done. If you want, you can keep rolling till a T1 resistance and a T1 evasion, or you can go to the next step, which is Eldritch crafting. We'll say we just want the T1 lightning res just for the sake of the argument. So I'm going to craft on T1, and then we have the chaos, and this resistance comes from the envy essence. Now we're going to use Eldritch crafting to abuse the way the system works for that. So you're going to put on a greater ember and then a lesser ichor. That's going to make the Searing Exarch dominant, so when we use exalted orbs, it's only going to roll prefixes and not suffixes. So you can either spam chaos and hope you get the 2 evasions and an open prefix, but what I like to do is block life since it has a high value. Wait, you crafted life, sorry, just 1 second. Crafted life and then exalted orb until you get evasion, and you do that until you get the evasion you want. You slam again. Let's say we both got 2 tier 3 evasions and we're finished. All you do is craft on physical to fire damage, which is right here, and you're done with the build. That's all you need to do. And to be clear, when I talk about X's slamming and chaos slamming, I'm talking about Eldritch chaos and X for this step. Also, if you're using chaos and you happen to hit either 3 or 2 prefixes, you're gonna go ahead and Eldritch or null to get rid of them. They can get pretty pricey, so hopefully you get it pretty quickly. And real quick before we move on, to get these implicits, I'm gonna go over it real quick. The cheapest way to do this is to spam Eater of the World's Grands until you get Hatred, has increased aura effect. After that, you're then gonna slam an Exceptional Ember to get anything on this slot. And avoid having to get into the details. You always want the opposite implicit to be higher than the one you're going for. So in this case, you'd want this to be tier 3 or tier 2, either equal or above. And once you get to the tier you're happy with, which in my case was tier 3, you'd then go ahead and spam Grands until you get global physical damage for your searing. Okay, onto the shield craft. What I did is I got a suppression based shield, so any spike shield. From there, we're going to start crafting our prefixes. So this is the shield I have in game. I have increased elemental damage with attack skills, which is also a suffix. You can either go for this or a different suffix if you want. This requires a Redeemer Slam, but it does give you a lot of extra damage, so I do recommend going for this route. Now to start, you're going to use envy essences until you get T1 suppress plus another suffix you're happy with. We're just going to go fill them in just for time's sake. Now that your suffixes finished, you'll want to clean up your prefixes. So we're going to suffixes cannot be changed. We're then going to scour, suffixes cannot be changed, and then ice link. Once you get your veiled prefix, you're going to craft on soul gain prevention. And then unveil, it's going to give you cold damage. You're going to redeemer slam it. You can get either tier 3 to tier 1. We got tier 2, so I'm happy with that. And then I'm going to craft evasion, and we're done with the shield. Now for the boots, I got really generic boots. There's millions of tutorials online about these. So I'm going to skip this craft, but if you need help, just go and comment down below. The gloves are also pretty generic. The only annoying part is going for the implicits. So what you're going to do is start by buying any evasion base that's 86 and above with accuracy rating fractured. From there, you're going to make it rare, then spam zeal essences. Now while you're looking for zeal essences, it's 2 suffixes you like to fill up your suffixes slot. So say this is what we got, but we got tier 1 fire instead. And we'd say those suffixes are good enough for us. We're then going to clean up our prefixes by suffixes cannot be changed and scour. From here, you can either Eldritch craft like you did in the shield, the armor piece, or you can just regular X slam. So all you do is block life, and then you'd X slam until you get the stuff you want. I'm gonna go ahead and fill up the slots just for time's sake. Okay, let's say we finish our gloves now. We got all the prefixes and suffixes we want. We're gonna start with the implicits. We're going to start by spamming Grand Essences until you get Strike Skills, which I happen to get first try, and normally it takes a lot longer than that. But after you get that, you're then going to slam an Exceptional Ichor to make sure the tier is higher than the tier of the one you want to raise. You're then going to over conflict it and hope this tier goes up. Since this tier went up and that tier went down, we're now going to re-Exceptional Ichor to make sure it's the same level. And then we're going to Orbital Conflict it again, hope for tier 2. And that's how you get the strike skills. After that, you're just going to spam lesser essences until you get this. Projectile pierces additional target, and then you're done with your gloves. Next, we're going to be moving on to the ring. And for this ring, I went for the Amethyst ring for the Chaos Res with an 86 base and an added fire damage to attacks fracture. I then rolled Essences of Suffering until I got T1 elemental damage on top of the cold damage you get. So we'll go ahead and add that real quick. From here you can do a few things. You can just X slam until you get stuff you want, and then craft on attack speed or craft on whatever you're missing. Or you can prefixes cannot be changed, reforge attack, and hope for attack speed mainly, or accuracy rating would be decent too, but since we got accuracy rating on our other things, we don't really need that. I would just X slam it and then craft on attack speed. So we'll go ahead and get rid of this. I'm just gonna block dexterity since it has a high weight and we don't need dexterity in my build right now. And then we'd X slam and then change it to attack speed. And there's the ring. Obviously, if I were you, I would prefixes cannot be changed and then scour these 2 and then go again until you get stuff you want. Okay, now moving on to the belt. You're going to start with base Stygian Vise, it's 86 or above. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of suffixes you really want on this, so we're just going to settle with what we get. You're going to start by spamming Essences of Essences of Envy for Chaos Res, and then get 2 other suffixes you're okay with. Like right here, I would literally just stop right now. Now, ideally in the future, you'll be using Mage Blood. So it depends how much you want to spend on this if you don't have the money for that. Any of the flash charges mods would have been good right here. But we're going to be moving on to the prefixes. And then I'll explain why we didn't get a fracture base. In this game, if you have any fracture base, it gets rid of all the chances to use any of the special orbs. And in this case, we're going to be slamming Redeemer Orb. So we'll go ahead and get rid of this fracture. We'll clean up this suffix. So we'll go to, prefix. Suffixes cannot be changed. We'll then scour that. And we'll roll until we get something we like. Okay, life, that'd be really good. And then we're gonna Redeemer Slam it for hopefully tier 1. Increased evasion rating would be good. Damage against chilled enemies would be good. Everything you can roll on this will be good. You're just hoping for a high roll. Increased cold damage, also good. You're then just gonna craft on increased elemental damage with attack skills, and you're done. That's your belt. For the final craft of the build, it's gonna be a large cluster jewel with cold damage and 12 passive skill base. So most large clusters are crafted the same way. You spam alterations until you get 1 or 2 of the things you need, and then you enchant if you only have 1 affix, you regal if you have 2 affixes, and then after you regal, you X-Slam. And the 4 we're trying to go for is going to be increased effect. I went ahead and just added them. This would be your most ideal gem or jewel. It would be 4% increased damage, 3% increased attack cast speed, cold speed, and chaos res. Now, getting this will be very expensive and very time consuming. So you can either settle on something else like I did, or you could buy off the market if you want to. It's just going to be super expensive, probably 20 div. So yeah, and that'll be your last craft of the build. In terms of the rest of the gear and gems and jewels, all of those are going to be just basic stuff. I made a video on how to buy gems very quickly with less headache. I'll have that link down below. I also will have a link for what Lethal Pride gem jewel to buy, so if you don't know how to search that up. Yeah, and just check the POB out for the rest of the stuff. I recorded every single trade I made and every single craft I made in game. Unfortunately, they got super jumbled up in the hard drives and the SSDs, so nothing's in order, and it's about 5 hours of footage. So I'm actually going to leave that out of the video. If this video helped even a little bit, I would appreciate a like and subscribe. If you watched here until from the beginning without skipping, I really appreciate it. It really helps me with the algorithm. I'm just here to help. I don't care about the money. Don't care about none of that. So thanks for watching, and subscribe for more coming soon. Thank you. Bye. One more thing. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Alright, peace.